We are celebrating the DA Show's 5-year anniversary on CBS Sports Radio. Let the experience wash over you.
And we come to you live for the Quicken Loan Studios. National Mortgage Lender. Quicken Loans applies simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Hour number 1 of the 5-year anniversary show is in the books, but lucky for you, there's 2 more hours to go. As always, our toll-free line is 855-212-4227, brought to you by Geico. Great news, quick way you could save money switching to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. We just discussed the enemies list here on the DA Show. Over these 5.5 years on the air, there is a no-call list. Richard Justice, MLB writer, who refused to pick up the phone because we made him hang on for more than 30 seconds. Bobby Valentine, who blew us off not once but twice after he said he wanted to come on, and we promoted him multiple times, and his people tried to get us in trouble with corporate. Joey Chestnut, for reasons we will discuss in depth later on in the hour. And 1980s sitcom star Jackée Harry, best known for her work on 227. I believe she was also the mother on Sister Sister, if I'm not mistaken.
Or the aunt, one or the other.
Okay. I had referred to her on the airwaves as a B-list star, which I think is very fair. Well, her fan club, who knew she had a fan club, went fangs on me. They started tweeting at me, tweeting at her, trying to crush me, ridiculing me, dismissing me, criticizing me. So we said, I want to bury the hatchet with Jackée. I don't want Jackée to feel like I dislike her. She's a B-list star from the 80s. I love B-list stars from the 80s. You give me a Bronson Pinchot on the air, I'm taking it every day of the week. If you can line up Mr. Belvedere or the kid from Mr. Belvedere, I'm so in. The dad from Alf, I want the dad from Alf on this show. What Jackée Harry's people didn't realize is that's a compliment coming from me. So we sent an email to Jackae's publicist and said we would love to have Jackée on the show. Here was what came back. She's been on the set of her new CW series, The First Family, which just received a 104-episode pickup, so she'll be unable to join you. The First Family. I just Wikipedia'd it. I never heard of the series. It only got through 36 episodes. So I don't know how they got a 104-episode pickup and got canned after 36. But that's neither here nor there. This one dude, Phil, who is the president of the Jackée Fang Club, tweeted at me, Jackée has had a tremendous career with 7 Broadway shows, 5 hit TV series, and more money from endorsements than you could ever dream of. I simply responded, I totally agree. I never argued otherwise. Phil responded, BS! Touting her as an 80s B-lister is disrespectful, totally untrue, and marginalizes her countless accomplishments. I responded, untrue. Wouldn't Tom Cruise, Whoopi Goldberg, Diane Cannon, wouldn't they be 80s A-listers? She's not in that class, but no shame being in the B-list. Phil responded, look at you. A never was deciding who's a has-been. Of course you see no shame in the B-list. You're on the Z-list. Drop it, sir. I responded, I'm lower than Z-list. I'm not even on a list. But who'd argue that she's not as famous as A-listers? She's not a has-been. She's just a B-lister. Nothing from Phil. Crickets. Let me ask you, Miraz, would we bend on any of the no-call listers, any of the enemies list?
To me, I think there's only 3 that we would never, ever, ever have on again.
Bobby V is a no-bend. That's it.
Bobby V, that's it. Forget it.
That's a lifetime ban.
Richard Justice is gone, too.
Lifetime ban.
And Joey Chestnut's gone.
Lifetime ban.
Lifetime ban. I would bend on Jackée. And Art Garfunkel, I think I honestly think Art Garfunkel is so lost in his own world that we could get pitched him again in some kind of alternate universe, and he wouldn't say no if we booked him because he would forget.
Come on.
Yeah, I would agree.
And we could get craziness with him again, you know?
I actually would encourage Jack Kay being on the show because she never personally dismissed me. It was her fan club and her agent or publicist. But she never did anything to me. So I would definitely welcome on Jack Kay again. And I agree, I wouldn't mind having Art Garfunkel back on because he wouldn't remember that he hated my guts and we might get good fireworks again.
Right, and to be fair, from 2013 to 2018, Jack Kay was a B-list star and you were below a Z-list. I think you might have lapped now Jack Kay in 5 years.
I don't think.
I do. I do. I think Jack Kay, if she hosted a show now, should be asking you to come on.
On the Jack Kay podcast? 228, the Jack Kay podcast. All right, so that's the enemies list here on the DA show. Let's listen to the moment that Mraz nearly had a heart attack because I was criticizing a burrito chain after they had an outbreak of the neurovirus.
I don't like your thinking here for one reason. Ward brought up a great point with Peyton Manning and the Broncos.
You don't want to think that Chipotle is over.
Right. Like Ward brought up a scenario where it worked. You're bringing up a scenario where it didn't work.
Yes.
Stop trying to kill Chipotle.
I'm not trying.
Chipotle didn't try to kill you. It tried to kill others. I know for a fact you didn't get the neurovirus or the E. coli or whatever other virus they churned out in the last 6 months. So stop trying to kill it.
But I easily could have. That was my Chipotle up in Boston when I lived up there, the one that got all the neuroviruses.
But you didn't. And I've seen you hold the foil wrapper and slug a burrito like nobody's business, so stop trying to take away the joy. And you keep saying the food's gone down quality. No, it hasn't. Your mindset has gone down into the gutter. Stop destroying my favorite burrito place. If it doesn't live, I don't live. 20 years from now, no Chipotle, I'll drop dead. I will drop dead without those burritos. I'm tired of your nonsense putting them into the ground. Freaking Moe's stinks. They got no flavor in their chicken, no flavor in their beef. That cilantro Chipotle churns out is delicious, and it's unbecoming to knock it down enough.
Why don't you just go to a real Mexican restaurant?
I went to freaking Mexico. The food stunk. I came back. First thing I did off the airplane was go to my local Chipotle, and they were there for me. They were there for me to serve me and give me what I've been longing for, my freaking all-inclusive vacation that couldn't give me a damn quesadilla worth a damn.
That will always be ridiculous. Always. I mean, Bilotti, listening to Mraz meltdown over burritos, they were there for me, is extraordinary.
I would say it's stunning, but knowing him, it really isn't. This is his norm. This is like every day in his thought process. But it doesn't surprise me with Chipotle.
And here we are 2 years later, Chipotle better than ever. I will survive.
You were so angry at me. Remember how really visceral angry you were?
Because I actually got an anxiety attack because of all the fast food or quick food chains. Chipotle's the one that I could always lean back on and go, absolutely, let's go to Chipotle.
And you thought I was going to help force closures of it.
Yeah, because you had some pull, a national radio host, and it's the last thing I wanted. You know, word of mouth spreads here. I didn't want anybody taking it down. Like the Kenny Rogers roasters in Seinfeld.
Yeah, Mraz was really upset, thinking that if I badmouthed them, they would close the chain. Here's some of the epic calls in DA show history. Let's start with Steve in Akron, who gave us the forever term Holdsnapper.
And you know what?
What?
Brandon Whedon, you might be able to be like the Holdsnapper.
The Holdsnapper?
To kick the extra point, you know, for Dallas now.
He might be the Holdsnapper or the guy that kicked the extra point for Dallas?
No, the guy that holds it.
Okay.
He could be the Holdsnapper.
He could be the
for Dallas.
He could be the
Wouldn't that be awesome?
If Brandon Whedon was the Holdsnapper?
Yeah, for Dallas. And no, listen.
I am. Unfortunately.
All right, Brandon Whedon signed with Dallas, correct?
Got it.
So he could be the Holdsnapper to kick extra points for Dallas.
I know, but why'd you bring up how much you hate Pittsburgh?
Well, because I'm a Cleveland fan, and I'm Cleveland bound, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I know, but we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys. How do we get to how you hate the Steelers?
Well, because I always hate the Steelers because I'm a Cleveland fan.
Okay, so you just kind of insert that into any conversation you might have, like, Hey, honey, I think we need another gallon of milk. By the way, I hate the Steelers.
No, but I'm saying Brandon Whedon could be like the whole snapper.
I got that point.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yes.
And mess it up, just like do the flip. Could he flip past it backwards or frontwards or wherever?
Yeah, but what position would he play?
Whole snapper.
And we still have that drop that will live in infamy forever, the hold snapper. And we bag on Brandon Whedon a lot for obvious reasons. He's kind of become a DA show whipping boy, but Stephen Akron calling him a hold snapper. There was actually a moment in time where our listeners added to Brandon Whedon's Wikipedia page backup quarterback and hold snapper. And for a couple of days before Wikipedia got it, it said Brandon Whedon was a American quarterback and hold snapper. How about the day that Hurricane Jen introduced herself to the DA show universe? Now, let me ask you, Jen, have you had a little drinky drink tonight?
Oh, honey. Yes, please, I had a drink.
Okay, Jen, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, so you had a little drinky drink tonight. That's fine. A beer or two, a glass of wine, something like that?
Hold on.
Okay.
My husband's here.
Okay. Did you guys go out together, have a little drinky drink?
Well, no.
Oh.
No.
You're just drinking alone?
No.
Oh.
It's not about drinking.
Oh. Okay.
It's about sports.
You sound a little out of it.
And hold on here.
Yeah.
It's about sports.
Yes, it is.
And you know it. And you damn well know it. And I'm talking about Gino, and I'm talking about A-Rod, Ron, and how back in...
Hey, Jen?
Yes, I'm hanging up. This is Jen's husband, Frank, and I'm ready to hang up.
Is this her husband? Is this Jennifer's husband?
Yes.
Is she going to be okay? Because she sounds like she's losing it. Appreciate you listening. Have you guys gone out to have a few drinks tonight?
Well, we had a couple beers, but that's about it.
Okay.
But it's just been a long day.
Yeah, no, I could tell. We'll make sure Jen gets to sleep. Or
You
just,
stupid...
just
I hate him.
She'll
okay.
be fine.
Well, I hope she doesn't hate me. I'm just trying to help her out there.
I know. She's not going to hit you. That's right.
Okay.
She hits you, which I'm guarantee you she'll listen to you Monday. So.
Okay. Well, maybe she might not remember this phone call.
Yes, she will. So.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. No.
God. Oh, man. That was the first call from Hurricane Jen. The first call ever was she was so tipsy. Her husband got on the phone, and I had to negotiate with him how she was going to do. And she's in the background on the couch going, I hate him.
I believe she also wished us a happy Easter in the elongated clip.
Oh, man. Hurricane Jen and her husband. And since then, it's only gotten better. We found out later on that she had sent naughty pictures to Rex Ryan, or somebody she thought was Rex Ryan.
A fake Rex Ryan on Twitter that she thought was the real thing.
A fake Rex Ryan on Twitter. She sent him naughty pictures.
I hate him.
Okay.
She'll be fine.
Well, and she got nicknamed Hurricane Jen because she just blows in like a hurricane, rattles the windows, goes crazy, chaos going, things break, and then she quietly just kind of like dissipates.
Hold on.
And it ends. You go, what just happened?
I would never tell you to hold on. I love you to death.
She called Rome after that, if you remember. She made it to Rome.
Oh, outstanding.
What's up, everyone? This is James Ward, former cast member of The DA Show on the Wheels of Steel. Congrats, guys, on 5 great years. I was very proud of my time on the show, but now I'll be sitting home Sundays watching football in my Zubaz, picking cheese doodle dust out of my belly button. And by the way, Mraz, Brasilia, still not a language, and Hawaii is definitely a state. Here's to 5 more great years. Congrats, guys.
James Ward, I love him discussing himself as a former cast member here on the DA
Like
show.
he's on SNL.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Ward, James Ward of the Wheels of Steel for a number of years here on the DA show. Moving on up the ranks. Now working as a television producer, going up to the TV business. Big money business. Ward is an elemental part, a fundamental part of the DA show and Sunday Morning Football for years, so we appreciate his time here on the DA. We keep hearing from all the guys that have joined the show throughout the years and worked on the show, so this is so cool. You are locked into the 5-year anniversary special, and you can watch the special at watchda.com. Again, you can watch it, and that's good on your phone. That's good on your laptop, on your tablet, on your PC. Check it out, watchda.com. We had a caller by the name of the Gobbler in Green Bay who just out of nowhere started gobbling. The Gobbler is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, listening on 107.5. Hello, Gobbler. What's going on?
On behalf of the whole, and this is on behalf of an old movie I just saw this weekend, I want to say, on behalf of Schwartz as well, because Schwartz I don't think gets a lot of love, so
right.
I'm going to say this. May the Schwartz be with you. And I'm out, DA. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That led to a never-ending laugh attack from all of us when we just kept playing the gobble over and over.
I'm a little wet, a little drippy.
The gobble continued, and did he ever call back to gobble again?
Yeah, like 2 more times.
2 more times.
Yes.
It was like a 3-call gobble set.
Exactly. I think we had him because that wasn't during Thanksgiving. We had him back around Thanksgiving just to add to the festivities, and he called a little later on, too. Just a Packer fan that makes gobble noises.
Where did he come up with just making gobble noises, and why did he think he should just call up the show and do a gobble for us?
Because we were the DA show, and that was the show to turn to make a gobble noise.
But it didn't factor into his call. It was just like, let me just gobble on the air.
It's like America's Got Talent, all right? He saw an opening. This is his talent, making turkey noises.
And then didn't we have other callers do other gobbles to see what was the authentic gobble?
You know what? I had forgotten that. And you know what? That was more controversy. Kenny Brock thought that he had just he had pre-recorded the gobble and didn't do it on the fly and was hitting playback on a phone.
Yes, he thought that there was no way in the middle of conversation the gobbler could be that effective at a gobble. And so we had to break it down like the Zapruder film. And we continually listened to it back again. And we had to have the gobbler come on to do it again. But his gobble is never as clean as the first call's gobble. And so that led to a huge debate about whether the gobbler was kind of using a corked bat, brought a taped gobble to the original call.
It was the original Laurel versus Yanni. We just had to keep playing it back. What did you hear?
There was a gobbler, and then there was a Bellinger. You might remember back in February, after the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, we had to get a crow for Kenny Brock to eat because Brock promised on the Permission Granted podcast, if Nick Foles of the Eagles won a Super Bowl, he would eat crow, literally. So I had to find a guy that sold crow. I went back to my hometown, and a kid that I actually grew up with who was a big hunter. And I said, dude, I need a crow. Can you get me one? He goes, look, I can't get you a crow. He goes, but I might know somebody that could. And I think this was this dude's uncle that lived way, way upstate, like way in the sticks, like not near anything. And so I called him and got the crow. And I said, look, we need this for a radio show. Would you be okay coming on if this ended up working out? And he said he would come on, but the day that Torg Bellinger came on the airwaves, we were all floored.
Well, it's crow season. Actually, now through the end of March, which we call around here, we call it March Madness, crow season, right. Which is that happens when you don't cook the crow properly, and you eat it. It starts to have an effect on your brain. On the frontal lobe, And so around here, sort of madness sets in with the undercooked crow, and so we call it March Madness.
Okay.
But lots of folks come up here to get crow this time of year in March Madness.
Okay, so people do eat the crow. That's good to know. So how would you suggest I cook this? I'm thinking about a crock pot. Have you ever actually eaten the crow?
What kind of pot?
A crock pot.
No, I don't believe I know. I don't believe I know what kind of pot that is. I would smoke it because of course, most people like to boil the crow, but that's how you get the March Madness. Oftentimes, is the crow's underboiled. That's what happened to my brother Bill, which makes me sad. But Delbert had nothing to do with it. But I recommend smoking it with cherry wood, with a nice spice rub. Of course, you could just go to your neighbor's place, and as they're burning up some growth, from the winter, then just put it on top of that. That's not a problem at all. If one neighbor's not burning the day you need to cook your crow, just ask your next neighbor when they're going to be burning and clearing, and then that's the best way to find a good place to smoke crow. But obviously, if one neighbor's not burning, then the next day your other neighbor's liable to be burning.
I forgot about the hunt for a burning compost pile that you could die of starvation during while you're waiting for a neighbor to set something on fire to smoke your crow on.
My God.
Oh, poor Bill.
And that's what happened to my brother Billy. It wasn't Dilbert.
Which makes me sad.
I'm not familiar with that kind of pot.
That makes me sad. It's what happened to my brother Billy, which makes me sad, but it wasn't Dilbert.
Now back to the crow.
Yeah,
Cherrywood.
Now back to smoking crow. And underboiled crow. And then he kept saying he needs some lemon zest. He just kept saying, lemon zest.
What kind of pot?
A crock pot.
And he keeps switching between March Madness, meaning a disease, and the excitement of crow season. There's two ways those terms work wherever Torg lives.
Oh, man. Torg Bellinger. Oh, God, is that good?
Which we call around here, we call it March Madness. Yep.
Lemon zest. On a great job by Pete the Body Bilotti, weaving in some of the best of that doesn't make a full segment. But you got to sprinkle in the wet sneezes of the Mac Attack, as well as other moments like, excuse me. And there's a charity cornhole fundraiser. Woo! Welcome back to the 5-year anniversary special here on the DA Show. Remember, you can watch the proceedings at watchda.com. That simulcast going on right now. And if you missed anything from the 3-hour extravaganza of the 5-year anniversary, the entire episode will be on iTunes and on our website, daoncbs.com. Brooks Koepka, Bubba Watson, Dustin Johnson lead the charge. And the RBC Canadian Open is this weekend on CBS. We have had a number of bits gone bad. Some of which you never knew were coming, some of which you kind of had an idea. Let's go back to the chicken challenge. This was a 50-piece McNugget challenge. This was kind of an extension, a spin-off of the Wienership, our hot dog eating challenge. McDonald's was promoting a 50-piece McNugget package. And I asked, do you think you could do it, Mraz? And Mraz said, yeah, I think I could do it. And Mraz was beating his chest that of course he could do it. Of course he could do it. And so there was challengers to Mraz who could eat 50 McNuggets first. Mraz was going to take on James Ward because James Ward had flaunted his eating prowess by bringing in multiple dinners per night. But Ward would work out like a fiend. I mean, the guy is built. And Mraz, of course, eats like a fiend, but does not work out. Is built more like a donut, maybe a donut hole. And we had this proceeding set up, 50 nuggets. Who could eat 50 McNuggets first? And out of nowhere, like the Royal Rumble, suddenly a face from the past, a blast from the past, Steve Moralia was Planet Steve-O, suddenly showed up out of nowhere. That was a whole saga unto itself. I had no idea. The whole thing was just otherworldly crazy. But Mraz, at the end, hoisted what I had concocted, the trophy to win this chicken challenge, the Stanley Cluck. It was a trophy that looked like the Stanley Cup, but had feathers, a chicken attached to the top of it, and Mraz had hoisted it proudly by going behind the back, showing up his opponents, hiding McNuggets in his bandana. Mraz is now going 2 nuggets at a time.
Oh, boy.
He's using the 2 nuggets almost as buns, okay? So he's eating, they're stacking on top of one another. He's dipping and then pushing them into his big old gullet 2 at a time.
And Mraz again taunting.
He has never been a good winner. He's never been a good competitor.
And double nuggeting.
This is amazing once again, and Mraz is jumping around. He's feeling really good.
You better be careful. I'll tell you. You saw North Carolina last night. This could be Mraz if he's not careful. You sensed it.
Oh, boy.
He is
going
to eat it without hands.
No hands.
Eating with no hands.
No hands.
No hands, and now he is twerking his face.
He's twerking his face.
And going again with the dip.
Oh,
I mean,
goodness.
This is more than a legacy performance. This is a show.
I've never seen anything like this. This is Joe Montana in the 1989 Super Bowl, his final championship being his greatest moment. 5 touchdowns, and there's Mraz. He put the nugget in his mouth, bent down, dunked it in the barbecue sauce, no hands, and then ate it, flipped his head back like a seal, like a sea lion. This is amazing.
You think he heard the critics, and now as the sound effects come in, he's down to 4.
He's peacocking. He really is. He knows this is his victory lap.
Hasn't even gotten to the final 10. You would think that these guys have to show a sense of urgency. This is worse than Andy Reid's time management in the 04 Super Bowl.
Mraz has had 47 nuggets. 47 nuggets in what amounts to about, 10 minutes. I think it's about 10 minutes that he's done.
It's 7:45 Eastern time. There was debate as this is going to be it.
Oh, boy.
History in the making, a legacy cemented. Sean Mraz is your Chicken Challenge 2015. Oh, 2 are still there in the bandana. He faked us all out.
That was Jacob Wilkins' shining moment. As the voice of the Chicken Challenge, he will never be greater than in that moment.
If, we play back Nomads on the Watch DA stream, why we can't get footage of that and replay that, that is a hardwood classic, if you will. Everything about that's just truly a shining moment in the show's history.
We did not have a web stream, a simulcast at the time, so we had to borrow Tiki and Tierney's webcast. They let us borrow their cameras, their webcast, and so we did this during our show. We crashed the stream. So many listeners logged on that at some point the whole thing just upended. We needed to be rebooted and got crashed. That was one of the funniest things ever because you were down to 48, and we thought you were down all 50. You were down to two left, though, and you had hid 2 in your bandana. And so we thought you were finished at 48. And yet, as you finished your box of 50 McNuggets, you then went into the bandana and took out 2 more and threw those in. You were such a showman in that moment.
Crowd went nuts.
The crowd went nuts. It was such a flourish at the end. I mean, you finished with a flourish, and you were dunking them into the barbecue sauce with no hands. I mean, that really was also one of your finer moments.
Yeah, and I was criticized because that came after Wienership 2, where Badlands Booker had came in for the first time and destroyed me. Took me behind the woodshed. I was blown out.
Yeah.
And people thought, kind of like the Seahawks throwing the pick at the 1-yard line there at the goal line, that I would never recover, never get back. The Seahawks never have. I had to come back there, and I stepped on the gas. First couple nuggets were tough, and I took off flying from there, and I was going to let it be known I was the king of the hill.
He faked us all out.
How did you feel after 50 nuggets?
Like garbage. Couldn't eat right for 3 days.
So that was Chicken Challenge number 1. We also held the Geography Bee. Knowing that Mraz's baseline education is a disaster, we had Jay Berman as the anchor and the host of the Geography Bee, which gave us Mraz's greatest mistake of all time. What language is spoken in Brazil?
James is anxious for this one. It's the 15th and final question. What's the predominant language of Brazil?
Okay. We're going to reason with ourselves here. You would expect me to say Brazilian, obviously, which would cause giggles. I happen to have a tenant, a landlord upstairs that is from Brazil. So, my answer, without any further ado, I got to come up with an answer, would be, oh, man. Oh, it's not Spanish. Oh. You know what? No, I'm going to go back to my original methods.
Oh, no.
Oh.
All right. Hurry it up, big boy.
All right.
You did say without further ado.
Brazil is near
Like 45 seconds.
Rio, Egyptian.
Holy crap. No way. No way.
They're near each other?
No way.
What other country speaks a different language that's near it?
No way. No, there's no...
I was going to say Rio-Anese, but I know that that's just the city.
Rio-Anese. The 2 questions were Egyptian, the 2 answers, and Rio-Anese.
I was convinced there's no language you could give me that would make me laugh, and I was dead wrong.
What, can I get the real language?
So you think that Egypt and Brazil are close?
Yeah. They're pretty close. And I saw the movie
like,
Rio,
where do you
too.
think they are located on the globe?
Point them out on the map.
Well, the pyramids are in Egypt.
Right.
That's in Africa.
Okay.
Okay, and that's where Brazil is. Or not.
Not.
Well, where could it be then? Come on, where is it then?
Soundtrack of his life.
Oh, my goodness.
South America? Is it South America? Oh, that's why the time zone thing isn't a big deal for the Olympics, then. That would make sense. Idiots.
You know, that's kind of like how often SNL plays More Cowbell. It's like the sketch that you keep seeing on every special, but every time it's funny. Every time we play that, I can't believe that you thought Brazil was in Africa. And I can't believe you threw a dart, probably the only language you can think of any country in Africa, and said that must be what they speak in Brazil.
Because the whole bit was you guys thought I would say Brazilian or Spanish, so I had to come up with what Brazil was closest to come up with a language. That was my mindset. You guys wouldn't have given me an easy question at the end.
But why did you think Brazil was in Africa?
I mean, I thought I saw enough. I saw that movie Rio, and I could have sworn it was in Africa.
Very underrated line. I saw Rio too.
I've never been.
And the presentation begins, DA, with, you think I'm going to say Brazilian, but my landlord is from there. So without further ado, as if he's going to drop Portuguese on us and be the genius, he falls off a cliff and lands on Egypt.
We had a Wienership Part 1 where Mraz ate more hot dogs than anybody else. We had a Wienership Part 2 where Badlands Booker came in and destroyed and wiped the floor with Mraz. We then had a Wienership 3 that was a relay race as we tried to take down Badlands Booker, but we still lost again. That brought us to Wienership 4, where we were going to have Joey Chestnut and Megatoad, Matt Stoney, come in, part of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, and we were going to give them really creative hot dogs. We knew they weren't going to eat like 20 hot dogs or 50 hot dogs, but we were going to give them really creative hot dogs like a peanut butter and jelly hot dog or a s'mores hot dog or a pizza hot dog that we had created, and we were going to eat them with those guys and do taste tests. Joey Chestnut came in after a day of doing media, and we saw him on TV, on ESPN, eating hot dogs in the SportsCenter studio. He came in, we asked him to do our bit, and he declined. What sounds delicious, a pizza hot dog, and that is marinara sauce, some Parmesan cheese, and some pepperoni. Now, I see the looks in your face, and you guys are acting like that's disgusting. You know you eat 70 hot dogs in a sitting, so I don't want to hear that this is disgusting.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying, like, I wish I could eat them all, but I can't really eat tonight. But
You've eaten some hot dogs tonight.
I've eaten a couple, and I'm on a pretty strict routine right now. But
Okay.
But he can make it, and I'll agree to eat it some other day.
I don't know if that counts.
I'm not eating tonight.
So no hot dogs at all, Joey?
I could look at it and critique it, but I hate to be a Debbie Downer.
Stony? Well, you guys
can eat it if you want.
You guys can turn around and go home then. I mean,
or we can make the other people eat it in the studio.
So so you wouldn't even eat a plain hot dog right now.
It's hard, we're on a strict diet, and
weren't you eating hot dogs all day though? These
No,
guys were saying you were eating hot dogs all day.
Where do you see us eat hot dogs?
Well, one of these guys said,
read everything you hear or believe it.
This is your guys here. This is your team of Nathan's people saying you ate 20 hot dogs today.
Oh no, that was supposed to happen.
We didn't eat anything.
We had to do ESPN.
Oh, we had to eat 2 hot dogs for ESPN in the morning.
Okay.
Other than that, we're pretty empty.
So a total of 2 hot dogs all day.
Yeah. Today, it's pretty much a cleanse day because I'm getting ready.
So no hot dogs tomorrow.
Tomorrow we'll have to eat one for media. Yeah, it's the end of the night, brother. You're not putting anything in me unless you're paying me big. You're not that cute.
Well, I appreciate that, Joe. Back at you, my man. So what can we talk about then? I mean, we also had him reference Jenna Jameson. I mean, Joey Chestnut really bothered us all. And Mraz, you're still getting worked up and amped up about this.
Yeah, because just how many he lied at the beginning and said, oh, yeah, we had a couple hot dogs today. Then when you call him out for having hot dogs, he goes, where'd you see us eat hot dogs today? He lied within 2 minutes, just counteracting it. And the freaking company set it up that they would eat. And then he goes, we'll have to eat one tomorrow for media. What are we, not a media corporation here?
We are media.
Of all my moments as a producer, that made me look the worst. Forget anything that's actually come out of my mouth. I'm talking about the actual production of the show.
Yeah, boy, that's a deep reservoir of moments.
That made me...
Please qualify.
That made me look the worst. And just hearing you go, what are we going to talk about then? Like, I felt my heart sink, and I thought my career was over after that.
Because his PR people had agreed to them eating hot dogs.
It's not as if we had a Foreman grill out here and we're grilling hot dogs by them. Surprise. They brought in the hot dogs with them to eat.
They brought in the hot dogs, and then we were going to dress them up. We had all the condiments to dress them up, and they refused to eat hot dogs. And then for him to say, you're going to have to pay me big, like you just ate 2 hot dogs earlier in the day. You're going to eat a hot dog or 2 the next day. But because what? We fall somewhere lower level, lower bar for your media? You can't eat hot dogs for us? Joey Chestnut on the banned list. He'll never get another call from us ever again.
Get him out.
Get him out.